Forms the basis of our question today as the fuel price hike that came into effect at midnight. How will this affect you? That's what we're asking this morning. Let's take a look at what you have to say on social media. Monseni says, morning Sims, it's going to be hard for most of us to cope because most of the basic goods will go up because of fuel hike. Dogoza says we're getting used to the situation. Nothing will ever change. Hunger and death, these are daily bread. Likwena says, negative, I'm working for government. No salary increases for 2 years, but food, fuel, electricity, gas and paraffin increase anytime they wish. Zuma is not a president anymore because they used to blame him for all this, but today they are scared to point the responsible person. Siabulela says, good morning. This is devastating. We are already deep in depression from COVID-19. This exacerbates the dire situation. I might have to walk more than I previously did. The government can do better. If there was a time we needed a better life for all, it is now. Now, motorists will have to dig deeper in their pockets to fill up at the tanks. The petrol price hikes kicked in at midnight and petrol will rise by 29 cents a litre and diesel by 42 cents a litre. Now, Illuminating paraffin increased by 36 cents a litre. For more on this, we are joined via Zoom by Mervyn Abrahams. He is the program coordinator at the Pietermaritzburg Economic Justice and Dignity Group. Mervyn, a very good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to the agenda.
Good morning and good morning to all your viewers.
Now, what sort of impact will this petrol price hike have on the low-income families disproportionately?
So what we do know is that petroleum and electricity are major inputs into the production and manufacturing of just about all goods and services in the country. So when petrol price increased by as much as it did today, then we will see its impact on things like increased food prices, increased transport cost, and a number of other costs across the sectors. We do know that the poor use paraffin very often as a means for cooking. And with food prices having increased by about 7% over the past 10 months, and South Africa's basic staple foods all need to be cooked. Samp has to be cooked, maize meal has to be cooked, potatoes has to be cooked. So energy is, of course, extremely important. And when energy increases as paraffin or electricity, then it means there is less money available in the household budget to purchase food.
What does this increase mean to ordinary South Africans? I mean, how is it going to impact the food basket, which already is so high?
So we are likely to see increased food price inflation. At the moment, over 10 months, as I've said, our basket has increased by 271 Rand, bringing the cost of our basket now to 4,128 Rand. And it is likely, as I've said, that the cost of the petrol price increase will be fed through into the retail prices, because remember, farmers are using diesel on the farms. Remember, all the food has to be transported, so petrol is involved at just about every stage, and so we should expect to see it in price increases possibly over the next month or two.
Well, Mervyn, we know that the price of fuel fluctuates on a regular basis. And I mean, we're likely to see possibly a decrease of fuel in the coming months. But not the same can be said about basic commodities such as food. It hardly fluctuates. Why do you think that is the case? And how can we remedy that?
So what we have seen historically is that when petrol prices increase, then food prices follow suit about a month or two later. And then when petrol prices come down, as we saw during the COVID period last year, significant drop in petrol prices, we do not see a corresponding drop in food prices.
Yes.
And so there is space for us.
All right, we seem to have lost Mr. Abraham Mervyn here. and he's been speaking to us about the economic impact that the fuel price hike has had on South Africa. Now, Mr. Abrahams, I'm sure you're back now. Please do indicate if you can hear us.
I can.
Okay, great stuff. Please carry on. We lost you there for a second.
Can you?
Yeah, please carry on, sir.
I can hear you.
Yes, please carry on. We had lost you there for a second.
Oh, I see. I'm so sorry about that.
No worries.
So when petrol price increase, we see food prices increase. When petrol prices decrease, we do not see a corresponding decrease in food prices. And so that leaves us with space to investigate. The problem in South Africa is that our food system is not transparent. And so we're not able to actually see where the increases are happening, at what stage of the food value chain, and therefore we can't call out the ones doing the increase. And so what we need is greater transparency, and we call upon the state to think around ways in which there can be greater transparency.
And many South Africans were hit hard by COVID-19, losing their jobs, and this petrol hike is not making things any easier.
No, it's not making anything easier. We've seen job unemployment increase progressively over the last year. We have seen electricity prices increase by 15%, transport by on average 7%, food, according to our basket, by 7%. And household incomes have been eaten away by these increases. It is for this reason that we have called upon the state to reinstitute the top-up to the old age grant, the child care grant, and the social relief grant, because the situation in the country is exactly the same as it was a year ago, if not worse. And by increasing these
All right, we seem to have a problem connecting there. That was Mervyn Abrahams. He's the program coordinator at the Pietermaritzburg Economic Justice and Dignity Group, and he's been speaking to us about the economic impact that the fuel increases has had on South African consumers and as well as the economy in general. Let's move on to this now.